executed by Investigator Kenneth Johnson of the UAPB Police Department. The state's in pertinent part as follows. That on or about 10 February 2015 at approximately 10:53, Investigator Johnson was on routine patrol at the intersection of Ricker Street and L.A. Prexley Davis Drive when a female motorist who became known, and I'll leave her unnamed, shouted out that she needed help. She stated her boyfriend is trying to hurt her. He is following her in the car behind her and he has a gun. As I exited my patrol car, she shouted that he just shot at me. This officer stopped a 2000 Mazda Millennium occupied by two black males, then radioed for assistance, and both males were removed from the vehicle and placed in handcuffs. After a verbal consent search was obtained, the Mazda Millennium was searched, and UAPB officers recovered a loaded .45 auto handgun with 5 rounds in the clip and 1 round in the chamber, believed to be stolen at this time. Both the driver and the passenger, Kenneth Burton, were transported to the UAPB police substation for questioning. At that time, the victim described a yellow Chevy Camaro as part of the incident. The Camaro was located and the driver of same was detained and transported to the UAPB police substation. An interview was conducted with the driver of the yellow Camaro, who waived his rights in writing and stated he went to the home of Kenneth Burton that morning and he witnessed that Burton and his girlfriend, the victim, were arguing. He stated when he arrived, the victim was leaving the residence along with her 1-year-old daughter. He said Burton asked for a ride to follow the victim to retrieve his cell phone. When they arrived at the intersection of L.A. Prexley Davis Drive and Watson Street, Burton exited the vehicle, pulled a handgun out of his shorts, and fired 2 shots. He said he could not be positive the direction the bullets went because he was driving away. The driver stated his car is a yellow 2011 Chevy Camaro. An interview was then conducted with the driver of the black Mazda Millennium, who waived his rights in writing and stated that he was leaving class when Burton stopped his vehicle near the Herald Complex area and questioned that he followed his girlfriend in the red car so he could get his cell phone. When they turned the corner on Ricker Street, the police officer stopped the vehicle and Burton pulled a handgun from his pants and tried to hide it in his car. And he finally chose to hide it in Murray's backpack. An interview was then conducted with another witness who was independent from the drivers or the victim and stated that a yellow Camaro with a black top pulled up and a black guy got out of the car and fired 1 shot in the air and 1 shot at the red car. Kenneth Burton subsequently refused to give a statement. The state would request a finding of probable cause on the charge of terroristic act, Class B felony, felon in possession of firearm, a Class B felony, possession of a firearm on school or otherwise prohibited property, a Class D felony. In the event the court's inclined to make a probable cause finding on one or all of those charges, the state would request a bond in the amount of $50,000 cash only, based on the fact that Mr. Burton has a prior conviction of negligent homicide in which he was convicted of killing a 14-year-old girl with a handgun. He subsequently was found guilty and sentenced to the county jail on that charge after a trial by jury. He was placed on probation in October of 2014 after a bar fight that resulted in the death of another individual, and he is currently on probation out of 5th Division Circuit Court. The state would also request a no contact order prohibiting the defendant from having any contact with the defendant and all listed witnesses at this time in this case.
Even when you catch a charge like this, do they bring about it again?
Well, they're letting the court know your history so that an appropriate bond can be set.
Because I never got convicted of murder of a 14-year-old child. I got convicted of a handgun.
Okay. All right. I added the possession of the firearm on school property. It was not listed on here, so I wrote that in. There's that request of the state. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That is statute number 573-111, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Burton, the court is going to find probable cause to hold you in this matter and will grant the state's request for a $50,000 cash bond. You'll have a return date back to this court on April 1st of this year at 9 a.m. In addition, and as a condition of this bond, you're ordered not to have any contact or communication with the alleged victim in this matter and all listed witnesses. Do you plan to hire an attorney to represent you?
Yeah,
Okay, then you may return to your seat, sir.